We begin CBS2 News at 5 with breaking news. Chaos inside a jewelry store in Studio City. An employee fired a gun at a pair of men trying to rob the shop after they used pepper spray.
CBS 2's Tom Wade is live outside that store on Ventura with the very latest at this hour. Tom?
And Jeff and Suzanne, as you can imagine, this was a terrifying situation for the shop owner, and we're told that this is the third time this jewelry store has been robbed. We're along Ventura Boulevard, not far from Coldwater Canyon. Police are still in there, as you can see, trying to piece this whole thing together. Lots of shattered glass there. That's, of course, because when this shop owner returned fire from the pepper sprayers, some of the casings and the windows shattered inside the store. Take a look at some of this ground video. This is in the minutes right after this robbery or attempted robbery around 2:30. What happened was, because these folks were pepper sprayed, 3 in total, police and paramedics had to come here and just basically hose down their faces, wash their faces, soak them to make sure that they got all of that off of them. A very painful and scary situation, as you can imagine. And they spent a long time here on scene trying to help those folks out. As you look at some aerials here, definitely a very huge scene here, as police had to kind of close down a section of the strip mall as they were trying to find these guys, because after they pepper sprayed this owner and the owner returned fire, they took off on foot. They got away. We don't believe they were shot, that they were hit. So that's something we are still trying to figure out right now as this manhunt continues. We did speak with some of the victims as they were being taken by ambulance.
It sounded like an earthquake, is what it sounded like. And we knew something was going on. And Victoria, she was the one who yelled and called 911. And we both dashed out front and ran after them.
I saw a couple women that were getting their eyes, it appeared to be rinsed out. And also they were taking off their shirts. So I saw 2 of them getting taken away in an ambulance.
Are you okay?
I don't know. I hope so.
What happened?
Smash and grab in the jewelry store.
Were you in there?
Yeah.
Did they spray you?
Yeah, my sister.
Your sister too?
Yeah.
The good news is nobody was seriously injured inside the store, but that manhunt does continue at this hour. Reporting live in Studio City, I'm Tom Wade. Back to you in the studio.
And we do have some more breaking news at this hour. Charged with murder, the house guest accused of killing a man, his mother, and his stepfather in Leimert Park could face the death penalty.
CBS 2's Christy Fajardo is live with what law enforcement just revealed in a news conference as Nancy Amelia Jackson faced a judge. Christy.
Yes, Suzanne, Jackson appeared in court, as you said, but her arraignment was postponed. Just after that happened, the LAPD held a news conference and said that she had been staying with the disabled victim for several weeks and was determined to stay at all costs. A family living through triple heartbreak stands beside police and want the public to remember 65-year-old Philip White, his mother, 83-year-old Orsie Carter, and her husband, 79-year-old William Carter.
They were beautiful, loving, gracious, generous people.
Today, the DA announced Nancy Amelia Jackson could face the death penalty in the triple murder of disabled man Philip White and his elderly parents. Police say Jackson had been down on her luck when White took her in, but she was stealing and using White. And when his mother intervened, police believe Jackson shot all 3 of them in White's Leimert Park home. Their bodies were found by family members on Tuesday.
That smile is nothing but deceiving, because what I saw is pure evil in that individual, and that's what she is.
Police say they found Jackson in Culver City and arrested her. They won't go into details about the case against her, but say the motive may have come down to greed.
She had, in my view, determined that it was a good thing and nobody was going to get between her and a good thing.
The bodies were discovered this past Tuesday, but police now believe the 3 were actually murdered the day before on Monday. Back to you.
Thank you, Christy. More breaking news, a shooting in East LA.
Let's go live to Stu Mandel. He's up in Sky 2 with the very latest. Stu?
That's right. This shooting, one person taken to the hospital. LA County Fire taking that person to the hospital. Sheriff's Department out here doing an investigation. This is going to be on Whittier, right near the cross of Atlantic, East Los Angeles area. Right now, they've got a portion of the street shut down, and they're doing an investigation. But we do know the shooter, the suspect, is still on the loose. Live in Sky 2 over East Los Angeles, I'm Stu Mandel. Back to you two in the studio.
Thank you, Stu. We have more breaking news. LACMA, the popular museum, shuts down for the day after getting a possible bomb threat over the phone. No attack ended up happening. The LAPD is investigating at the LA County Museum of Art right now. The La Brea Tar Pits also shut down after getting a similar threat. Disgraced Hollywood mogul Harvey Weinstein in handcuffs, officially charged with rape, criminal sex acts, sex abuse, and sexual misconduct involving 2 women. Many of his accusers say they didn't believe this day would come. CBS2's Lena Wynn is live in the newsroom with the dramatic day in court for the man who used to be one of Hollywood's most powerful players. Lena.
Yes, Suzanne, when the first exposés in the New York Times and the New Yorker surfaced back in October, very few expected the avalanche of accusers. But when it came, they all demanded one thing: justice. And many of them say today was the beginning. This is the moment dozens of women have been waiting for. Harvey Weinstein in handcuffs, facing multiple felony charges.
This is kind of the first time he's facing the same justice system as the rest of us.
The former Hollywood power broker surrendered to New York City police early Friday morning. He later faced a judge, at times looking dazed. Weinstein is charged with 3 felonies, including 2 counts of rape for alleged attacks on 2 separate women.
This defendant used his position, money, and power to lure young women into situations where he was able to violate them sexually.
Weinstein's arrest follows months of investigation by the Manhattan District Attorney's Office. It is the first time prosecutors decided to charge the 66-year-old since more than 80 women came forward with their stories. Weinstein has repeatedly denied any allegations of non-consensual sex. His attorney says his client fully expects to be exonerated.
I anticipate that the women who have made these allegations, when subjected to cross-examination, in the event we even get that far, that the charges will not be believed by 12 people.
His accusers tell a different story. One of them, actress Rose McGowan, tweeted, "We got you, Harvey Weinstein. We got you." Weinstein is wearing a GPS monitor, has given up his passport, and has forked over $1 million cash bail. His next court date is in July. Suzanne?
Thank you, Lena. Coverage of the Harvey Weinstein case continues right here on CBS2 at 6:30. With the CBS Evening News with Jeff Glor, we'll hear from another Weinstein accuser.
Well, a small brush fire broke out near Harvard Road and Sunset Canyon in Burbank. That was this afternoon. Firefighters there managed to put it out in less than 2 hours, but they're now keeping a close eye just in case there are any flare-ups in that area. Some roadways and residential streets shut down now along Sunset Canyon Drive. We'll let you know of any developments on that story.
And turning now to weather, that looks like Santa Monica Pier looking gorgeous today after a really chilly, kind of depressing week, but it looks like the holiday may look nice.
A little bit of May gray going on. Of course, we have a lot of people going here because of the long holiday weekend, Memorial Day, and this is a live look at LAX as the mad dash to get out of town is right now in full swing. Suzanne. So let's take a live look here at Garth and see what the forecast is all about.
Yeah, busy out there, you guys. Suzanne's right away. A lot of people out by the pier, and it is just busy down towards the airport. We're getting that clearing right now. It has been a lot of May gray, 67 degrees if you're traveling. A lot of people are. Let me show you what's happening. Sunny right now down by LAX, 65 degrees there. Getting a report of delays just into Newark right now. That's 45 minutes and growing inbound weather delays there. That is at Newark. Otherwise, that's a look at the rest of the country from Boston to New York City, DIA, Denver, Chicago, and Philly. Everybody's up and running if you're heading out of time. If you're staying local, stick around. I'm going to show you a great weekend. It's all lining up. We'll show you that in just about 8 minutes. Back to you guys.
Okay, Garth, thank you so much. Well, it happened again. Students running out of a school after one of their own opens fire. Tonight we were learning quick-thinking teacher is a hero in that situation. Noblesville, Indiana's police chief revealed the teenage gunman asked to be excused from a science classroom, then returned with 2 handguns. As the student, we're told by police, began shooting, that middle school teacher swatted the gun out of his hand and then tackled that student. The teacher and a student were injured. The suspect is in custody at this hour. State troopers helping police, ATF, and FBI in that case. And so far, no word of motive.
A day after President Trump pulled out of next month's historic summit with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, talks behind the scenes could revive it. The two had planned to meet June 12th in Singapore to hammer out a deal that would denuclearize the communist country. But after North Korea's vice minister called Vice President Pence a political dummy, the White House pulled the plug. North Korean officials said they're still willing to talk. Today, Mr. Trump said, so are we.
We're going to see what happens. We're talking to them now. It was a very nice statement they put out. We'll see what happens. It could even be the 12th. We're talking to them now. They very much want to do it. We'd like to do it.
Defense Secretary Jim Mattis also confirmed diplomats are working to get the summit back on track. He calls the recent back and forth between the leaders, quote, the usual give and take.
Well, in just a few months, California will have a brand new governor with 26 candidates aiming for that seat, including a recording artist, puppeteer. You can expect a very tense battle in the June 5th primary.
Republicans hope to take it back, riding the same wave that sent Donald Trump to the White House. CBS political reporter Dave Bryan sizes up the two GOP candidates.
Go to truth about Travis.
Go to votesmart.org, buddy.
Go to truth against Travis. All right. This is what politicians do.
John, maybe if you could actually learn to use the internet, you'd understand.
Do you think you two might have to take outside?
He's really angry. I don't know.
I want to just say thank you.
The two leading Republican candidates for governor, businessman John Cox and Orange County State Assemblyman Travis Allen, are fighting hard against one another and against the Democrats in a free-for-all race to win a spot in the November election. President Trump's endorsement of Cox was a huge boost to him and a staggering blow to Allen, who told anyone who would listen that he, Allen, was the only real Republican in the race.
I'm the only Republican that's been a Republican my entire life. I've always voted Republican. I supported and voted for and even wrote op-eds in favor of the Republican president, Donald J. Trump. I'm running against a guy, his name's John Cox. When he finally did vote in 2016, he was a never-Trumper that supported a guy called Gary Johnson.
Johnson was the Libertarian presidential candidate in the 2016 election. Cox brushes off the criticism from Allen, and before he received the presidential endorsement, I asked him about Trump. Are you a Trump supporter?
I like what he's done. He's cut taxes, he's cut regulations. I'm not the same as his style, but I think he's achieved a lot of successes. We're going to have 3% growth in this country for the first time in a long, long time.
In this Cox campaign video called Bacon, the candidate is portrayed as the guy who will clean up corruption in Sacramento.
Ready to clean out the barn?
But in another video, the Cox campaign lowers the boom on Democrat Antonio Villaraigosa, with whom he's also battling in the primary, charging that Villaraigosa lobbied Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger to reduce the sentence for a powerful state lawmaker's son who was convicted of the brutal and senseless murder of a San Diego State University student in 2008.
Don't bail Antonio out. We need a leader who will end the corruption and cronyism and protect California, regardless of who their dad is.
Statewide elections are always difficult for Republicans in California, but this time they may have at least one small advantage in the June 5th primary for governor, because there are 4 Democrats splitting up their votes in the primary and only 2 Republicans, making it easier for a Republican to get into the runoff. In Studio City, Dave Bryan, CBS 2 News.
And for more information on that upcoming election, visit our website at cbsla.com.
Coming up, tense moments in the waters off San Pedro as a boat catches fire and other boaters jump into action to help.
Plus, it's nothing to buzz about how the swarm of bees took over a local man's Jeep. And easing the pain at the pump tonight, we'll show you ways to cut down on the rising cost of gasoline.